Are layers in your haircut good for your hair? Layering, as I mentioned in the past, is a technique that is designed to remove weight from the hair. So if you hold this layer up like this, it's going to fall to a certain length. Let's take these pieces in front, for example, here. So you can see that this layered piece comes down to about right here. Now, if I hold this straight up from the head like this, it's going to fall here. So haircut layers are definitely very, very essential to removing weight if your hair is really, really thick. And also if your hair is just very, very flat. If you don't have layers in your hair, let's just take this haircut, for example. It's probably like a medium length hair, I'd say, especially for a guy, and you had no layers in your hair would come all the way from your scalp and grow all the way and be the full one length. Okay, the maximum length, which means maximum weight. There's a higher chance that your hair is going to lay very flat like this. So if you want to have a more flat look, you don't want to have a lot of poofiness, you're afraid that your hair is just going to be, all over the place, something easy to maintain, you can put it in ponytail easily. One length is always the best way to go. However, if you are somebody who does not want to have hair flat to their head, especially if you have wavy hair like this, you want to have a bit more life to your hair, then you're going to need layers. Now, depending on where the layers are cut, really depends on the person cutting your hair, their knowledge, and where you want them. So if you're okay with hair coming down to maybe the lip area, and you're going to start to see that volume and that shape and that texture right in through this area here, then that's where you have to determine how long you want your layers. And you can literally go in and you can pinpoint and say to the professional, I want my layers to maybe start around here and then work around the head shape. Now, the problem is, and where you have to be careful once again, is that if a professional does not know what they're doing when they're layering your hair, they could actually end up cutting the layers too short in the back or not having a good knowledge of how to connect layers, and you could have a botched up, choppy haircut. And let me know in the comments below if you've ever had someone who has given you a bad layered haircut. It's very different than just having a regular haircut, but a bad layered haircut really, really, really could be a disaster. So layers are really good for your hair if you do want to have movement, texture, volume, if your hair is wavy and it's even curly and you don't want it to be very, very flat here and then poof out in the bottom. It's because the weight is building upon itself. So it's just going to keep ballooning out like this. Layering is going to remove that weight. You can see it through here. It's going to give you a much nicer shape when it comes to, creating that shape in your haircut. Here's another example of layers on shorter, than the last mannequin. And this is what I like to call maybe feathered layers. And it's important to see, especially that's why I have this zoomed out a little bit, is that the hair is this long, which means it's going to fall to about the nose. Now, keep in mind, this is something that is really, really important that you need to all pay attention to. So let's just say, for example, you see how this mannequin, the hair, right, it looks short right here, right? You think to yourself, oh, this is where the layers are. Well, guess what? This strand of hair comes all the way down to the lip. It's very, very deceiving. So don't think that wherever the hair falls in the style, that's where the hair needs to be. So, for example, if you're like, oh, yeah, my layers, they fall here. I want you to cut it to here. And your hair's all the way down to here. Well, guess what? It's going to spring up to here, right? It's really not going to work out too well. So you need to have a really good understanding and the person cutting your hair that if you tell them you want your layers to fall about right here, they shouldn't be cutting it right here. They should actually be leaving the hair this long so it springs up like this. So tell them, you can say, I want my hair to, the final style to be this length, so you probably have to cut it to about right here. Now, the chances are, unfortunately, there's a good group of hair professionals, whether they're barbers or hairstylists, who don't understand this concept. They will cut it to here, and then it's going to spring up to here. So make sure you tell them, I want the layers to fall here when it's dry, so let's cut it about right here. You actually sometimes have to educate them because they, unfortunately, don't understand that. And there's a lot of people who do and a lot that don't. It's just like anything. There's a good chefs, there's good mechanics, there's whatever it is, okay? But you can see it through here. If I didn't layer this, then it wouldn't have this flow. So if you want to have, say, a shorter haircut on the sides here, here's another thing where if the layers are too long, yes, layers could be good, but if they're too long and they start here, you're really not going to have any movement on top here, and it may look really, really feathered down and through here, or it may be unbalanced, right? Like it may be very one length and there's hardly any layers, and it just looks like the hair's winging out. So you have to make sure that it's all very proportioned. You could also take your hair and you can run your fingers through it like this, right? And if you're looking to see how good your haircut is after you get home, take your hands and run it through your hair like this. And if you see the hairs, like see how this flows in perfectly with each other, that's because all of the hair was cut the right way because I did this haircut. All right, I did the haircut. So let's go back right here so you can see. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start combing the hair to make sure that you understand the process. So layering is good for your hair if you need it. So what it looks like is when the hair is held straight up. So many of you will be saying, well, what even is, how do you even do layers? I have loads of videos. If you literally just go back on my channel or just type in the Salon Guy layers right here on YouTube, you'll find literally hundreds of videos that I've done about layering. So it's going to be very, very helpful for you if you want to continue to watch more of my videos. But layering is when you hold the hair up or out, depending on what you're trying to do, and then the hair is cut. So what you're doing is, let's just say I hold the hair up here and I cut all this hair off. The hair then is going to fall down to where I cut it. If I held it all the way up here, it's going to fall down to here. So layering is a technique. Technically, it's a technique designed to remove weight, right? But you can elaborate on that. You can go, it's designed to remove weight. It's going to add shape. It's going to add texture. It's going to add volume, movement to your hair. But there we go. So when I turn the hair this way, this will also give you a good understanding of what this looks like. So the hair also grows out from the head. All right. The hair grows out from the head. It doesn't grow straight up. It only grows straight up probably about here, the top of the head, because it's coming up, straight up. So this way, people think that the hair in the front grows straight up. It doesn't. It actually grows out from the head. And how you can check that is by literally, if you look in the mirror and you just look close to your scalp, you'll see the hair follicles, and you can actually comb your hair downwards. You can comb it upwards, and if you see it kind of stretching and going away from the grain, then you know that's not where your hair grows. So when you're getting your hair cut, make sure the person is cutting it straight out from where it grows, not up. Because if they bring your hair up like this, they're going to cut all this hair off, and you may not necessarily want all this hair cut off, right? It's gonna destroy the flow. So you have to make sure that from a technical standpoint, when you're going in, you need to make sure the person knows what's doing. Now, how do you know if you need layers or not? Well, you need layers, again, if you run your hands through your hair, and especially if it's longer like this, medium length, or you want to have some flow to your hair, and your hair just literally falls flat like this all the time. It's constantly flat in your face. There's no, you can see almost like right here, it looks like it's one length, but because I did the proper layering, it flows really nicely. But if you have really heavy hair and just lays flat all the time, you want to have that bro flow, or you want to have nice soft feathered layers like this, then you run your fingers through it and you want to see pieces and you want to have a lot more weight removed, then layers is the way to go. I have a whole range of hair products as well, shampoos, conditioners. This comb, this carbon comb right here, it's an amazing comb. Look out, listen to this thing. This thing is super solid. So this is available at shop.thesalonguy.com. This actually really helps your hair if you blow dry it and you want to see those feathered pieces because the teeth are wider. It's going to really help create that separation and create that nice feathered look right here. So this is a great comb right here. I have scissors, I have blow dryers, hair products, shampoos, conditioners, all sorts of stuff. Shop.thesalonguy.com. And if you use code YouTube20, you get 20% off. And also search the Salon Guy layers here on YouTube, and you'll see hundreds of my in-depth tutorials on actually cutting layers and all sorts of haircuts. So hope you enjoy this video. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you soon.